Hi students, this is Mrs. Marinelli for Business 270, and this video is working on a business letter. So in your nuts and bolts packet, I'm looking at page PDL 8 and 9, and even though you aren't going to type the more advanced document, we'll also look at page 12. So the default settings, remember, is line spacing is 1.15 and we want 1. And line spacing is also adding space after the paragraph, and we don't want that. A fast way to get around that is click on no space, and then it changes it to 1 and gets rid of the extra space. And the default is Calibri, and I'm going to just change it to Times New Roman. Where's Times New Roman? Well, we'll stick with Calibri, but I'm going to change it to size 12 font. 11 is too little. And mine is looking big here because I have enlarged my document. I'm using the zoom slider, and I'll get it back to 100%. So just like the personal letter, we want a 2-inch top margin, so I'm going to enter 4 times. And you can see the 1-inch mark is aligned with my pointer. And basically the difference with this letter is, with a business letter, companies have their letterhead, which means it's either paper or they have a template with the company name, logo, address, phone number, possibly fax machine. Sometimes they may even have the president of the company or the board members if it's a school. So generally it will take up a good 1.5 inches of the top margin. So that's another reason for starting at 2 inches. And if it takes up more, then you just need to adjust. So we don't start by typing the return address. We start just by typing the current date. And remember, we don't want to abbreviate. So October 8th, 2020. And then we are going to do just, oh my gosh, just as we did before with entering 4 times. And then start with the inside address, the address of the person you are sending the letter to. And again, you might be writing to a business, and you might want to put the person's title. These are all options that would be available to you. And then you would double space, just like we did before, and have your salutation. Double space and have the body of the first paragraph. Just like before, single space, double between. For however many paragraphs there are. Double space and do your complimentary close. Quadruple space, meaning enter 4 times and then your name. And my title. And if my secretary is typing this for me, my secretary would put his or her initials in lowercase. If I typed it myself, I wouldn't do that. And you might have an enclosure. See how the program automatically capitalizes it? You might have an enclosure or an attachment, but that's the basic parts of the letter, with this one again being a business letter. If I'm typing from my business, the company letterhead would be up here, and I would just start with the date. So I entered 4 times to get to the 2-inch top margin. I entered 4 times to have 3 blank lines. When I enter 2 times, I get 1 blank line. Enter 4 times to get 3 blank lines. And you may not have an enclosure. You may not have an attachment. I might type it myself. My friend is a manager in a business in LA, and her boss and the secondary boss, they type their own documents. But if she were to type it for them, then she would put her initials. It just shows who the typist is that typed it, maybe even wrote it for somebody else. So that's just a few differences in personal versus business letter. I'd like you to look on page 12, and even though we are not typing this, you will learn in the advanced class. These are the other parts of a letter that are advanced features. So a business letter, you would start again with the current date, confidential, and you would have that on the envelope. So the person opening the mail would not open it for whomever it's, I'm sorry, the person getting the mail would not open it. Some secretaries open all the mail, so this you would not. Attention FBLA competitors, so you're not writing to any one individual, you're writing to multiple people, or it could be you're writing to an organization. Perhaps you received a scholarship from your elementary school or your high school, and so you're writing to the school as a thank you. So then your salutation is ladies and gentlemen instead of dear so-and-so. Or if it's an organization of all women or an organization of all men, I'm sorry, you don't need the dear, you would just put ladies and gentlemen or just ladies. And then in all caps you would have a subject line that tells what the letter is about. And then your body.
Person detected near your floodlight cam.
Stop. Sorry, you guys. And then your comp close, and then the company name of who it's from, and then the individual and their title, reference initials. If there's an enclosure, a copy notation, somebody else is receiving a copy, and then a postscript at the bottom. So these are all items. I'm not having you do this, but I want you just to be aware that there are other parts of a letter. So you are doing a personal letter where you're typing the return address, and then a business letter where you're pretending to have the letterhead at the top. So you start with the date, the inside address, and again you may not have all of these titles, the salutation, the paragraphs, comp close, typed signature line, maybe a title, maybe reference initials, an enclosure or an attachment. So that's it for letters, and sorry for the interruptions today. Have a good day.